cash. Receiving cash means increase. Sales decrease or increase? Business sales increase, right? And now convert these plus signs into debit or credit. So when cash is increased, cash is asset. Asset increase mean debit. So revenue belongs to shareholder equity. Revenue increase mean credit. Now, can you say the entry? Can you pronounce the entry or
Nice.
say the entry?
Cash to revenue.
Well done. Cash to revenue by 7,000. And when you post it, so we already have developed the cash account in earlier transaction. So you see, so this 50,000 is coming from number first transaction. This 40,000 is coming from number 2 transaction. And this 7,000 is coming from the 4th transaction. So cash is debited, so 7,000 is placed here, right? And service 7,000 is credited, is written on the credit side. Since we do not have already established the service account, so we make a T account of service revenue, right? Everybody understand? Ella, you know what's going on?
Yeah, I quite understand.
Nam, Hunjin Kim, Dayon, Anthony, Marilyn, Harry, all set, right? Okay, now answer the 5th transaction. Performed services for a customer on account, 3,000. So first of all, analyze it. Which 2 accounts are going to hit? So perform services, it means these are our sales or revenue. But on account, it means we perform services, but we did not receive cash. So identify 2 accounts, at least 2 accounts that are going to hit by this or going to influence or affected by this transaction.
The accounts receivable and retained earnings.
No, retained earnings is a bigger account.
So revenues.
Revenue.
Revenues, well done. So we identify first rule, first step of transaction, first step of journal entry. This is revenue. And this is accounts receivable because we are talking about customers. So now you tell me, revenue increase or decrease?
Increase.
Well done. Our customers increase or decrease?
Increase.
Well done. And now convert those into debit or credit. So revenue belongs to shareholder equity, right? Revenue increase mean?
Increase credit.
Well done, credit. Account receivable belongs to asset. Asset increase mean?
Debit.
Debit, well done. And how you say the entry?
Accounts pay. Accounts receivable to revenue.
Well done, Ella, well done. See, account receivable to revenue, right? You can also write down service, it's up to you. But the main account is revenue. Account receivable to revenue, well done. And how you put it, or sorry, how you post it? So it means 2 accounts. We need to see that whether we already created it or not. We did not create the account receivable, so we make a new T account of account receivable. Here we go. Service revenue we already created in our previous transaction, so we just need to post the entry here. So you see from the fourth transaction, we already have 7,000 credited, and from this fifth transaction, we already have 3,000. There we go, the 3,000 here in blue color. Well done. So Harry, Ella, now all clear?
Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, now do this transaction. So this transaction is basically a combined entry, which means this transaction is going to hit for more than 2 accounts. So first of all, let's identify the accounts. First, read the transaction, paid cash expense. See the word cash expense, it means you pay through cash. Cash is not delayed. It means you pay the cash. So cash, paid cash expenses, rent 1,100, employee salary 1,200, utilities 400. Now you tell me which accounts are going to hit. At least 2, but can be more than 2. So which accounts? Number 1, of course, the cash account is going to hit. Number 2, expenses. Yes, expenses name, rent expense. Rent expense. Salary expense or salary whatsoever. And then we have a utility expense. Right? So you tell me, number 2, increase or decrease. When we pay cash, cash increase or decrease? Guys, I need your participation. This is very important concept. If you do not understand in this lecture, the next lecture is, gonna be out of your mind. You do not understand, or you won't understand the next lecture. So I need your 100% attention here. So when you pay cash, cash is decrease or increase?
Decrease.
Naam, Marilyn, please participate. Right? So cash is going to decrease. How much decrease? So since you all pay cash, so it means 1,100 plus this 1,200 plus 400. So it's going to be, right, 2,700. All paid by cash, right? So cash is decrease 2,700. So here we go. This is the rent expense. This is the account name. Increase or decrease?
Increase.
Increase. Expense, right? Increase. Rent, have to pay, rent increase. Salary increase or decrease?
Also increase.
Well done. And how about the utility expense?
Same.
Same. And now convert this into debit or credit. So cash is decrease. Debit or credit?
Debit.
Credit.
Credit. Why? Because cash is our asset account. Asset decrease mean credit.
Credit.
Well done. Expense increase.
Debit.
Debit.
Well done. Debit. Because this belongs to, expense belongs to shareholder equity. Since expense nature is decreasing the shareholder equity. So decrease in shareholder equity means debit. So well done. Expense debit. Same here. Salary expense is also debit. Whenever the word expense there, except prepaid expense, because prepaid expense is our asset. So that's why we don't have any prepaid. So this is here, utility expense also debit. Now, how you say the entry? That is a question here. First, you write down the debit. How you make the entry, journal entry. First, you write down the debits. So you write down first rent expense, salary expense, utility expense. And then because cash is credited, so you from here 1100, 1200, 400. How you say the entry? Rent expense, salary expense, utility expense to cash. Because whenever we say the entry after the, after we say the word to, here comes the credit part. So we have more than one debit, so we do not say to. We just repeat that. Rent expense, salary expense, utility expense to cash, right? And how we say with respect to amount, rent expense 1100, salary expense 1200, utility expense 400 to cash 2700. This is how we pronounce it, right? So let me erase all the mess here. Right, guys? And when we talk about the posting, so we do not have already the T account for rent. We do not have the T account for salary expense. We do not have the T account for utility expense. So we all write it down here. This is utility. This is for salary. This is for rent. So we write it down on the debit side. For salary, we write it down on the debit side. For utility, 400, we write it down on the debit side. So cash, T account, we already have it. So we just write it down on the cash side, credit side, 2700. So you see here, so this is the transaction. So this is called combined entry, in which we are using more than two accounts, 1, 2, 3, and this 4. And how we are going to say this, how we are going to pronounce it: rent expense 1100, salary expense 1200, utility expense 400 to cash 2700. So if I'm on phone and I am saying to my accountant, I have the journal book here and I am reading this entry. So how I read it, and the other person accountant, how he write it down. So I just read it, rent expense 1100, so he will write this one. Salary expense 1200, he will write this one. Utility expense 400, he will write this one. And whenever I say to, so that trigger his mind, okay, the next one, what I say is going to be credited. So I just say to cash. So he will write it down like this with a space here, cash, and on the credit side, 2700. So everything clear? Ella,
Yes.
Harry, Marilyn, Anthony,
Yes.
Hyunjun Kim, Dayon,